All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers working through training camp right now, getting closer and closer to the preseason. Exciting time for Tampa Bay. And there's a young rookie that's making a big name for himself, impressing all the right people. This is great news for Tampa Bay. I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, as we work our way through training camp, and it's this way with the Buccaneers, it's this way with everybody, right? Everyone sees these clips on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, right, of a player, a rookie, a new guy making an exciting play, and it goes viral, right? And everyone just sits there and says, "Oh, this guy's going to be a star." But we all can get caught up in it, and it's fun. But it really doesn't tell you, right? Those one or two clips, those highlight plays, they don't really tell you if the player is actually going to be good or not, if he's actually getting better. It's just like one or two plays. What you really need to pay attention to is what the leaders of a team say, what the veterans say, what the stars say. And there's one Buccaneers great player, I think one of the long-lasting great players, certainly on this Bucs defense, that recently had some very high praise for one Buccaneers rookie. Let's pull up this report, and we'll talk about it more on the other side. This is courtesy of SI.com. With both sides of the ball bringing out the best in one another, Bucs star nose tackle Vita Vea spoke on some of the new additions on the offensive line he has been going against, praising them for the strides they have made since coming into the organization. I think Graham has been showing big strides and is taking big steps as a young guy, especially as an O-lineman and being the center for the most part. All right, obviously talking about Graham Barton, the very promising center prospect rookie for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, Vita Vea, one of the greats. I think he's one of the underrated players in the National Football League. This is absolutely high praise for Buccaneers on Barton, and there's more to come. A lot of energy, a lot of momentum behind this young rookie. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Bucs fans in the comment section below. Preseason just a few short days away. Obviously, as we work our way through preseason, you're going to see a lot of new faces. Which one are you most excited to see play more than any other? Is there a rookie you want to see, a new addition you're excited to see as a Buck for a first time, maybe a veteran trying to find a roster spot? Give us the one Buccaneer you want to see play this preseason more than any other, and put them in the comment section below. And while you're down there in the comment section, make sure you check out the description box below for a link to our recommended book to get you ready for the upcoming NFL season. It is Playmakers by Mike Florio. It's a really great read. I'm not just saying that because I obviously bought the darn book and I read it. It's really good. A lot of good insights to the National Football League will get you ready for the upcoming season and beyond. Highly recommend it. Make sure you check out our affiliate link. Once again, description box below takes you right to Amazon. If you buy the book through that link, it costs you nothing and it helps us out. So we really appreciate you use that link if you decide to buy. But Miles, I will throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts on this latest Bucs news?
Yeah, Nick, I think this is a great update for the Bucks, mainly because when you think of some of the weaknesses on this team, whether it's growing pains, which I think a lot of those things are going to get better with age, but the trenches were kind of, a spot where there was some needed upgrades. Enter the addition of free agent Bredesen, as well as Grant Barton coming into the fold. And then Vita Vea reportedly shows up to this camp. He slimmed down a little bit. Then you got Kalijah Cansey, who we're high on, Yaya Diaby, who we're also high on, building up that side of the trenches as well as they grow into their second years. I think this Bucks, the trenches, they're going to get a lot better. And it's because of guys like Graham Barton and Vita Vea, iron sharpening iron every single practice. So I think that's a big thing here is if these guys are going together, and Vita Vea kind of talks about that a little bit further down. He just talks about, going against each other, everybody getting better because of it. If he talks about that with a guy like Graham Barton, he's got to mean it because, like you said, Vita Vea, this is one of the most impressive guys in the league. This guy's a really strong nose tackle. He's a great interior defensive lineman, and he goes up against some of the best, overall best interior offensive linemen in the NFL as well. So for him to come out here and really just talk about the strengths and that he thinks they're getting a lot better from the trenches than they were last year, I think that's a really big testament to a guy like Graham Barton because he doesn't really talk about any of the other guys that have been around for a while. Talking about the new guys, he says Bredesen's impressed him a little bit. He says Barton has impressed him a lot. So I think this is really great news for the Bucs in general. Just that you get a pick, you get it in here. It's like you said, you can see a play here, you see a play there. It's like, is this all really just cherry pick picks? There's these cherry pick clips that are out over the internet, or is this guy really doing good day in and day out? And you can't really tell that until someone like Vita Vea comes out and says, hey, this guy's the real deal. He's doing a good job. So if I'm a Bucs fan, I'm pretty excited about Barton because it seems like he's gotten the seal of approval from one of the big mainstays on this defense. Vita Vea, and if Vita Vea gives his approval, I think he's going to be one heck of a player.
I couldn't agree more, right? Vea has obviously more pedigree in terms of trench play than I think anybody on the Buccaneers right now by far. And it's not an insult to anybody else. It just speaks to the long-term greatness that Vea has shown throughout his NFL career. If you want an update on the center position battle, though, technically, according to golflive.com, Robert Hainsey is still currently the starter. That's not a big surprise, though, to be totally honest. Hainsey had over 1,100 snaps at the center position. Barton, remember, played left tackle in college a lot of the time. That's his most recent experience. So moving to center, very mental position, obviously calling the defense for the quarterback, working with the quarterback, working with protection calls with the rest of the offensive line. There can be it's going to be a learning curve, right? It's going to take a little time for Barton to actually get everything totally squared away so he can be confidently named the starting center. That's why Hainsey's number one right now, even though Barton's off to a great start. It's going to take time to iron everything out. It's like a young quarterback, right? Eventually the first round pick quarterback's going to start, but you have the veteran be the starter through a good chunk of training camp and preseason. I think Barton before long will supplant Hainsey at the top of the depth chart. And look, you brought up Bredesen, right? There's been a lot of comments from Bredesen talking about Barton directly, and I think this is very interesting too. Here's what Ben Bredesen said about Barton. I think he's made a ton of progress, especially because he was a tackle coming out of college. We've been working with him through OTAs. He's made good progress so far through these first 2 weeks of camp. Okay, so we're seeing his buddy, his teammate, his guard mate, right? Now, you would expect Bredesen to say nice things, right? We kind of expect that. But when you pair that with value, right, you're starting to get what we call corroborating evidence. We're seeing a lot of different viewpoints, different sides of the coin here saying, listen, Graham Barton's going to be a heck of a player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And ever since that just unfortunate Jensen injury, which really stinks. I was a big fan of his. I thought he was really kind of an ideal, old school, tough, nasty offensive lineman. Ever since that injury and all the disappointment of that, I think the Buccaneers have been looking for that next great young interior offensive lineman, especially at center, to take hold of that position. And based on everything we're hearing, I think Barton's the guy.